The new council had a majority of people of a different attitude. They did not want to attach Oberlin's energy future to a failing, an obsolete, a poisonous, a destructive technology. Oberlin is just a little speck. For us, it was important for this little speck to assert that we had to, that Oberlin had to, the nation has to, the world has to do things differently. And the most important thing that we could do was to say no to a 40-year, 50-year contract with a coal-fired plant. The people who voted against it, the 4 council people out of 7 who voted against it, and the people in the audience, citizens who came to these massively attended council meetings, that was the sticking point. It wasn't merely that burning of coal is poisoning the planet. It was 50 years? This coal plant is enormously expensive, and with every blink of an eye it becomes more expensive. We were slotted for 12 megawatts out of the 1,000 or so that were divvied up among AMP Ohio members. 12 megawatts at $3 million a megawatt for our investment, or 36 million. 3 million per megawatt today, but the contract read that any time, any additional expense was to be grafted on to the cost of the plant, its building and its operation and the cost of fuel. That was to be added to the 3 million. Well, it was fairly easy to figure out that we really didn't know what the cost of this new plant was going to be to Oberlin or to any of the other communities. This represented a sharp break from everything we'd done before. Our long association with AMP Ohio, a long, fruitful association with AMP Ohio. This was interpreted by some as an insolent slap in the face of that institution and of the people locally in the electric utility division. That was not our mood at all. What we wanted to assert was, we are at the end of an era. And I'm sure the term clean coal is familiar. Well, I don't believe there is or ever will be such a thing as clean coal. Even if through some procession of technological miracles, the burning of coal does no harm. Mining coal, blowing up mountainsides and tops, is very harmful, and we didn't want to be a part of that. Of course, you must understand that right now most of the power that Oberlinians are using comes from coal-fired generation, and that's a legacy of the energy production arrangements that have been in place for 100 years or so. We are relentlessly seeking now to replace the power that would have come to us starting in 2012, was what we were told, but almost on a regular basis we hear about delays in the permitting. And there is some anxiety that because we're not going to accept coal as a source of power, the lights will go out. I am fully confident that we are going to figure this out and that Oberlin will achieve its goal of being an example of how a very small town can do something very significant. We are conducting a study now of power sources. I've hired a consulting firm to survey what's available and at what cost. We have to figure out another way to do things, another way to do something as basic as providing electric power to the community. Happily, there are other very promising possibilities.